How many of you guys have been to a fair? How many of you guys have been to a concert? As you can see, a majority of you have been to one or the other, and in most cases both, but have any of you ever thought about what goes into planning such an event? Today I'm going to tell you about the Fair St. Louis Foundation, an organization that spends all year planning for just a couple weekends of events during the month of July in St. Louis. For the past 2 summers, I've interned for Fair St. Louis, and it's an organization that I would love to work for when I graduate from Missouri State. While concerts and fairs are just a whole lot of fun for those who attend, there's a lot of work that goes into planning and executing such an event. Today I'm going to give you a brief history of the Fair St. Louis Foundation, a little behind the scenes look at what goes into planning such an event, and then a little bit about what you can expect to see at Fair. Let's begin by looking at the history of how Fair St. Louis came to be. In 2012, the Fair St. Louis website stated that the foundation came into existence in 1981. Before then it was known as the Veiled Prophet Fair Foundation. Fair St. Louis, in partnership with the City of St. Louis and MPS, hosts a celebration on 4th of July weekend each year in St. Louis. This celebration includes a variety of things from live music to air shows, fireworks, even cultural and educational activities. Mr. James Howe IV, chairman of the VP, stated that the Veiled Prophets, better known as VP, is a private philanthropical organization that includes the most esteemed members of the St. Louis business world and society. Without the VP, the funding of Fair St. Louis would be nearly impossible, as Fair St. Louis is a nonprofit foundation that relies solely on the generosity of individuals and businesses in St. Louis to keep it going. Fair St. Louis not only consists of the 4th of July weekend activities, but also includes 4 other concerts and parties throughout the month of July. Now that you've learned a little bit more about what Fair St. Louis is, let me give you a little behind-the-scenes look of what it takes to get it going. While the fair is only a few weekends out of the year, Fair St. Louis has 2 full-time employees, and then normally hires on 2 to 3 interns for the summer months each year. Julie Donnelly is the event marketing manager for Fair St. Louis, and she's been working there for 4.5 years. Her list of responsibilities, just to name a few, include programming for the Kids Zone and Culture Stage, all mobile marketing sponsorship, correspondence with the sponsorship chair as far as keeping the recognition and benefits or sponsorship going, writing and executing grants, managing the summer interns, planning the parties and all of the board meetings. And like I said, that's just to name a few. Obviously, she works for an entire year. There's a lot more that she does. The Fair St. Louis Foundation relies on sponsors for the equipment, the performances, the grounds, the list goes on. Mrs. Julie Donnelly, Fair St. Louis's event marketing manager, reported that in 2012 alone there was $2.2 million in sponsorship. Now that may sound like a lot, but trust me when I say every single penny is used. During the summer months, Julie and Nicole, the 2 full-time employees and the interns, normally average about 60 hours of work a week, including staying downtown for an entire week to make sure that before, during, and after the fair runs smoothly. There were 3 interns this summer. One was a sponsorship intern, that was my sister. One was a volunteer coordinating intern, that was me, and then public relations intern. Well, there was so much going on and it could get pretty hectic. You can ask any Fair St. Louis employee and they would say they love their job. Now that you have a little idea of what it takes to Fair St. Louis to get up and running, you're probably wondering what you can expect to see at Fair. Well, I could go back and tell you about how acts such as Elton John, the Beach Boys, OAR have graced the stage at Fair. I'm going to instead focus a little bit more about what happened this past summer at Fair. Fair St. Louis is held on the grounds of the Arch in St. Louis. And according to the 2012 Fair St. Louis website, it was on July 4th, 6th, and 7th this year. Performances included Heart, Dierks Bentley, and Third Eye Blind. And these performers performed in what is known as the main stage, but there are also 2 other stages. One is known as Kids Zone. Kids Zone is where acts from the St. Louis area, such as a circus group and the Science Center, put on shows. As well as the performances in Kids Zone, there's also tents, with a bunch of activities that range from arcade games to face painting, even a first aid making station. But some of the favorites were the rock climbing wall and the inflatable soccer goals. Then you go across the way and there's the culture stage. And that is where acts that teach you about the world around you are performed. These acts this year included a belly dancing group and folk bands, just to name a couple. Then you go down the arch steps onto Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard, and there was a diving dog team and pool from Purina, even pole vaulters throughout the day, a bunch of things. And then to round out the entire event, there was all types of food throughout the entire park for the fairgoers. Then each night ended with a beautiful fireworks display that was shot off a barge in the Mississippi River, which worked out this year because there was a drought and no other fireworks show was going on, so everyone came down to the fairgrounds. And then besides besides for the 4th of July weekend activities, there are 4 other concerts a few blocks up at Soldier Memorial. This year's concerts included Neon Trees, Michael Franti and Spearhead, The Offspring, and then lastly Nelly and Out of Bang. We actually had 40,000 people come to that. As you can see, Fair St. Louis had a little bit of everything. Anybody could find something that they loved. As I come to a close, I hope you have learned a little bit more about what Fair St. Louis is. And as you can see, there is so much more that goes into planning an event that meets the eye. Today we covered a brief history of the Fair St. Louis Foundation, a little behind the scenes look at what it takes to get it going, and then a little bit about what you can expect to see at Fair. Are there any questions? Yes.
What was your favorite part of planning Fair St. Louis?
Honestly, it's fun. I like the atmosphere and everyone that I work with. The most fun parts were honestly the concerts and stuff. I mean, we got to see Nelly like roll up in his Lambo with the Shanti and she got out and like, it's just fun. Like, it's a lot of hard work, but the concert and the fair makes it all worth it. Like, it's just a lot of fun.
What was your favorite concert from this summer?
Probably Nelly, as much of a pain as he was. He was an hour late to get on stage. He was an hour and a half late to get to his meet and greet. He's way different than you picture him, but he was really nice. I mean, he had 14 cars roll up with him. He had a biker crew that came by. Like, it was definitely like it was a big deal. I mean, there was a lot of people. It was fun. That was my favorite one. And it was the last of the summer, so it was just kind of like the last shebang. That was a lot of fun. And my least favorite was Michael Franti. He doesn't wear shoes, by the way, and he smells. He's a hippie. He actually got caught in the elevator at the hotel, and their entire trailer smelled of cannabis. And none of them wore shoes. None of them wore deodorant. I mean, it was fun. They were different, and they were really nice. But like, it was just different. Michael Franti and the Spearhead. Everyone's heard one of his songs. Yeah.
I just didn't.
He was a lot of fun. He brought kids on the stage though, and had like beach balls he was bouncing. It was a lot of fun, but it was hard to work on him. He was a little slow. He was nice. I'm hating on him, but he was nice.
Thanks, Samantha. We're going to stop you there. Nice job.